Hey, what's up? Glad you guys are here. Let's make this happen. Building. What's up, buddy? And we are back at it. What's up, everybody? How we doing? There's Gautam. I see you, Rossin. What's up, Nit and Tristan, aka Ellie. First time listener. What's up, Wasty? Everybody show some love to Wasty. We're about to drop some value, drop some gems, under promise, over deliver. You know how we do here, but welcome. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon to wherever you are in the world. We are super excited to be back for another Mastermind session, and today being the first Thursday of the month, we are covering content marketing and how important content marketing is. And as you guys were a part of the sessions before, and hearing Ophir Galot, who unfortunately is not going to make it to today's session because his little baby boy is actually sick. So speedy recovery to his baby. But he was actually talking about how important content marketing is, to the point that it's probably the most important marketing channel that you can do, because it's marketing your content, right? And we live in a world where your business kind of needs to be some sort of media company, and you're pushing out content in that form. So before we jump into today's session, though, I want to hear from you guys. How you doing? How you feeling, right? So let's talk about content. And content, as you heard, content is king, but context is queen, right? So let's speak about content, and I want to know, get a kind of pulse of who here is actually putting out content. Whether that's, engaging in communities, whether that's posting on LinkedIn, text-based only, whether that's, commenting on Facebook posts. Like, where do you feel that you're actually putting out content, which channel, and let's say on a scale of 1 to 10, how well you're actually performing on said channel. And I don't mean performing as in how viral your content is, because we know that Sajad's going to be a 10 on Reddit, but how much effort you're really putting in there and where you can maximize on it. So Nitin, where exactly are you putting out content? What channel? And if it's on multiple channels, if you're distributing it, just to kind of give a high level overview of exactly how you're putting out content and what type of content. So in today's session, it's how to make the most out of your content marketing channels, right? And we're going to be covering a lot. I spent over 2 hours putting this all together, and 2 hours by me putting this stuff together. It's you guys can hear my keyboards when you're ever in the voice channels, and you hear. So 2 hours, it's a lot of work that I put in, but I'm super excited. We got about 63 slides that we're going to cover and go through, and super excited. So Gautam, you're doing outreach stuff, which, I mean, that's kind of putting content, that's still content marketing in my opinion, because you're marketing your content to a one-to-one approach. But yeah, definitely. And then we got Nitin on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn about e-com. That's fantastic. So I'm guessing Instagram and Facebook have similar strategy versus LinkedIn that might be different. Very curious, because on LinkedIn you're putting e-com stuff. It's just, and I found that LinkedIn might not be the most, the best place really for e-com, just because a lot of these e-com brands don't actually have LinkedIn pages, and if they do, it's probably just 1 or 2 employees. But definitely want to go through this content marketing mastermind lesson today, and then put some time so that we can go ahead and potentially take a look at some of the content that people are here putting out, have our little engagement group actually help support the people here. So if you put out content today, let's start with LinkedIn. I think everyone here is professional in some form or fashion. So if you put out content today, LinkedIn, let's just start with a status post, and update how your journey has been as a professional. What are some things that you've learned recently? I'm just strongly encouraging. That is a challenge for today. Go ahead and post some content. So with that being said, Wasty, super glad you're here. If you can, give a little introduction to yourself. The more people here in this community know who you are and your goals, the more likely they are to be able to support you with that. So Zane is still due to put together a calendar, bruh. Too inconsistent right now, but we got to get serious with it. I think absolutely. It's unfortunately, content can tend to be a full-time job, and even putting out this content of this mastermind lesson took 2 hours of just crafting it, not even the delivery of it. Thank God this is alive and I don't have time to go back and keep doing the tweaks, because this is just recorded straight. I would have to keep recording, and just, I can't imagine those TikTokers when they're doing that self-facing camera, the selfie camera, and they're just doing take after take, trying to get the perfect one, and it can be burdensome. So finding a platform that's right for you, I think, is very important. And as professionals, I think LinkedIn is still rewarding heavily on organic stuff. So of course, yeah, you can totally copy all the stuff from Discord. Discord doesn't index, but there has been news, there has been developments, and I totally should have checked on this before, but I saw that we're gonna go ahead and do a mini share screen right over here. All right, and I'm gonna put TikTok indexing. Interesting. I'm gonna see. I saw some content yesterday. So Google is now going to be indexing Instagram and TikTok videos, and it was pretty crazy because I'm trying to find the video that actually shows how it pops up in the feed, and I saw it on TikTok videos. It was actually somewhere around down here, and it was on obviously in the bottom of the search engines, but it was actually listed like this, top stories, and it was spread down here was TikTok videos. So very curious to see how this, how this affects all those channels and how content's going to change so that it is primed for indexing on Google. And this is relatively new. A lot of the times people had to repurpose content by transcribing it, turning it into blog posts, embedding their content within that blog post. But now with it being directly indexing, from these short form clips, it's going to be very interesting to see how this works and how it evolves, because as you guys know, the landscape of digital marketing is ever changing and ever growing, and these algorithms are it's code, right? And think about, since Google has been ever came into existence, ever since then, they haven't just like said, hey, there's a new update, let's replace the code. They're building on the same code. And this code is getting better and better and learning. And before I go ahead and actually just do this whole entire presentation by just speaking to you guys, let's go ahead and jump right into this. So if you're excited, show some love in the chat. Give me that energy that I need so that you guys, to know that you guys are excited for this, and I'll make sure to deliver on the value. And hopefully you guys can come away with not one, but 2, 3, 4, plenty of wonderful insights here. So with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and jump into today's session on how to make, the chat's covering it. Hey, there it is. There's our little community if you haven't joined yet. So yeah, how to make the most of your content marketing channels. All right. And I'm going to just jump right into this value because that's what we got here. And we start with, that was a fast transition. Just for aesthetic reasons, I got to slow this down. All right. Don't mind if I do. Change, move. Let's just slow it down. There we go. All right. Let's try that again. All right. How to make the most of your content marketing channels. You're my boy, Eric. All right. And it starts with the 3 pillars. Doesn't that look so much better? Amazing. Kiki, yes, Kiki, Christian, right? I believe we've been talking and chatting. Amazing. Glad you're here. So we start with the 3 pillars. And what are the 3 pillars of content marketing? Well, we like to call it art, or, actually it's more ART. And it starts with the first thing being authority. And back in the day, which Sajad, I was looking for this post you shared of a graph kind of emphasizing how important authority was previously, and nowadays Google is actually shifting away from authority and going more towards our next pillar, which is relevancy. And this comes down to the experience that the people are having, how relevant it is to the search query, right? When you do Google ads or Facebook ads, how they engage post ad, right? When they actually are on your page, involves what's known as a quality score. And that relevancy is part of that, quality score. These are different factors. Of course, authority is a part of one of the factors that determines the quality score of this, of your page, your content, or your site. So you have your authority, you have your relevancy, and next thing is really trust. And trust is a huge factor. If Google trusts your website, that you're not going to spam them, you're not going to do shady black hat practices, then of course they're going to reward you and experiment, right? Remember, Google uses the search engine to do these micro tests. And when people are typing certain keywords, they'll show your content to a small segment of that large group of people that are searching for content or searching, for something, and they'll show it to your website to the small test sample set. And then they'll kind of base their experience off of that small sample set. And if it's great, they'll start opening up to a larger sample set. It's actually quite impressive, to be honest, how when you think about search engine algorithms and then you think about social media algorithms, if you think about search engine algorithms and then you think about social media algorithms, search engines grab your content, share it to a small segment, little small sample set, sees how they're experienced, if you're authority, if you're relevant, if they trust you, if the content's great, right? Primo quality content. Same as, TikTok. You post a piece of content on TikTok, Next thing you know, they show it to a small sample set. They see how they engage with it. They see how many times they watch it. They see if they favorite it. They see if they share it. And once it's gone to this small sample set, they're like, you know what? This is great content. Let's rank them higher for other people so that they could come across it. Or let's show this content to more people and see how they're engaging. So these algorithms kind of have the same thought process. And it's just very important to focus on quality content. I've said this before, if you're not posting content, don't worry about quality, because it doesn't matter what you post, whether it's a video of you saying, hey, what's up, hello, whatever, it doesn't matter. You got to post something, and from there it's an improvement from posting nothing, and then you can build on that and focus on quality. But yes, quality content is the key. Okay, way back when these algorithms were and these platforms were young, these platforms were just rewarding anyone for posting anything, and very non-curious, especially think about a platform like Instagram. There were pieces of content of photos that were blurry, that were going viral, that would never happen today because of all the factors that take place. So focus on quality over content, because quality content, it helps you generate inbound traffic. Okay, absolutely. If you have great content and it's linking back to your website, to your page, your social media channels, your new email newsletter, it will generate that inbound traffic to encourage more people to come to you. Now, as you go ahead and increase and continue to put out quality content, you're going to naturally see your engagement rate and your conversions improve based off said content. You're positioning yourself as an authority. People are engaging with it. They're building trust because they love your content. And now it's going to affect their decision making and their behaviors in the funnel. All right. By being consistent on putting out said quality content, that brand awareness is going to be out there. This is why on top of funnel campaigns, you really want to showcase your top performing content and your best performing content that really explains what the brand is, and not focus too much on trying to get a conversion, but building that brand awareness and that reputation in whichever space and industry that you are in. Okay. See, quality content really is the foundation of SEO. Okay. You don't want to base your whole entire pillars of your website of your website, right, of your brand on throwaway content that you just put out there because it's like, oh, Facebook has changed their name to Meta, which there's a funny story about that I'll save after this lesson. So, of course, quality content, you put out quality content, you put out fire infographics, really thought out, high value, okay? It kind of understands the landscape of whatever space or industry you're in and really does a great perspective and take on it. Now you're positioning yourself as an authority. But of course, before you start on your content marketing channel, you guys heard this all the time, you got a plan. And some of the questions that you need to ask yourself when you plan are as followed. And I'm going to pass this on to you guys. So the question is, and I'd love to hear it in the chat, I'm going to take a little breather. I know there's a somewhat delay, so you guys see the question. The question is, why are you creating content? So Nitin, why are you creating content? Zane, why are you creating content? And everyone else, what is the reason for why you're posting this content? Okay? They say the more hands you shake, the more deals you make. I think that's a good North Star of why to create content, is to really get exposure out there, have people be more familiar with you, who you are, your brand, build that trust, and potentially, elevate their lives by whatever services you provide. Each person is different. So definitely want to hear from you guys why exactly it is that you're creating content, for what reason you sit and you plan and think about the categories of your niche, how to position yourself as a thought leader in the space or whatever, right? I mean, you have to think about it. An e-commerce's brand of why they're creating content is going to be very different from someone here who's a freelancer or an agency owner, okay? So let me know, why are you creating content? Now, if you are creating content, it's probably, right here. And there goes one of the answers. Are you looking to educate, or are you looking to self-promote? Right? Education, you got to bring in valuable insights, but self-promotion is totally okay. Other people aren't going to promote for you. So as you see right here, you got Rosalind, Nitin, and Zane. There you go. It's self-promotion. That's really a great reason why, and why Exterminator is to give solutions to people asking questions, which leads to them really considering you as an authority, which is a byproduct of what happens when you release great content. So, hey, nothing wrong with that, all right? Give it up to that. Wonderful, wonderful answer. All right, next up. Understanding, right? This is all part of that process, is where this content goes, where it gets distributed. And then once you plan, then you ask yourself the next thing. Well, you don't even ask yourself. This is an action place, okay? And I truly believe this, all right? You're not going to find this online. This is a Furlough Joe exclusive. It's a brain dump, okay? Just put it all out there, all right? Understand why you're doing these things. Of course, you have your content categories. This isn't necessarily how to create a content marketing strategy. It's how to make the most of your content marketing. So brain dumping every little piece of content you have. I used to have it on a sticky note and I had them all written down. I ended up opening up a project management software like ClickUp, and I just started dumping all the ideas down. And if you see our project management software, there are endless ideas. If you need inspiration or ideas for your content, you can go ahead and go into the brain dump. Once you have this brain dump, you find the content you want to work with and create an outline, okay? If you guys are familiar with storytelling, if you're familiar with the hero's journey, it's called going full circle. You see a lot of comedians do this in their stand-up, and it's telling this story, and the best performing content goes in full circle. That's why when you go on contents like TikTok, okay, the start is usually how it ends because it's a loop. So when you start it, right, and going full circle, you've heard a comedian say it where they kind of say a joke and they go upon their whole entire set, and at the end of their set, what they end up doing is saying that joke in a different context, but it brings it full circle. And that's what's so powerful about an outline, and that's what's honestly these TikTokers are really utilizing. It's making that perfect loop where the last thing in the video is actually the first thing, and that doesn't happen, spontaneously and sporadically. This happens with meticulous planning going into the outline. So, how are we doing? How are we feeling? All right. Now we start getting into the fun, spicy stuff, and it's understanding content formats. And there are over 40 content formats in which at least I could identify. I'm going to share a few with you today, okay? How-tos, right? How-to guides, informative guides, case studies. This is a fantastic way to showcase yourself as an authority, and charts and graphs, basically data visualization, and ebooks. Ebooks make a great lead generation, a lead magnet, especially. And these case studies, I cannot emphasize it. With agencies, a typical lead gen strategy are these brand audits, okay? And these brand audits are supposed to say, hey, this is wrong with your brand. Hey, what's up, Edwin? This is what's wrong with your brand. This is how we can improve your brand. And they go, okay, well, I'm an e-commerce, clothing line. Have you ever done this before? Actually, we do. Boom. Case study. Now you actually have a little more leverage and you're able to more likely close with them. So next content formats, of course, giveaways, right? Teaming up with sponsors, having them provide the product or service and giving it away. Kind of like a follow, hey, tag 2 friends, and to qualify, make sure you follow everyone this page is following, things like that. For sure. Frequently asked questions, believe is a content format. Q&A sessions are by far, I think, some of the best, the easiest sessions for creators. The thing is, you need to have somewhat of an audience or a community to be able to facilitate those Q&As. And even if you plant people, right, get your close 5 friends and be like, hey, I need you to support me during this session. I'm making content. These are all the questions I want you to ask through the next hour. And, it's it's a little tricky, but it works, right? And of course, webinars as well. I love to see it. Next up, interviews, right? Conversational interviews. This is now taking over, I guess, mainstream with the podcast format. Lists that you see BuzzFeed, which is doing a fantastic job with the listicles, right? 10, 9, 8. Pro tip, if you're going to do a list, start with a 10 and encourage them to go down. You don't want them to see the number 1 first and then go 1, 2, 3, 4, because then they're going to lose interest. You want to build up and have that anticipation for what it's all leading up to. Mind maps, okay? Mind maps are a fun and effective way to display information and workflows and processes. And of course, now in 2021, as this live and recording is going, memes are driving culture. I believe at the recording of this time, Elon Musk is worth $330 billion, if I stand correct. And that guy is the king of memes and the CEO of Dogecoin. So next up, You got newsletters, illustrations, summaries, and reviews. I think summaries are also another format which are underutilized. You get a book that someone can potentially be their life work, their magnum opus, and you read it. You extract all the good information, and you put a short 5-minute read on the blog post as a summary, or right here, hey guys, I read this book, and this is what I think about it. Boom, straight right into it, and we will go back into the lucid charts. I promise that. So what's up, Sajad? I see you here. Edwin in the building. Hey. All right, cool. So reviews, awesome, great content. Anytime it's kind of the user-generated content, even though we put a content format as user-generated content separately. So guides, super in-depth guides are great quality content, okay? But this is not something that you put together in a short amount of time. I'm gonna actually jump to the next one as well, because I wanted to mention white papers, which guides and white papers are primo content, and yeah, so someone answer Edwin's question for us. That'd be amazing. For sure. So day in the life, especially when you talk about education, entertainment, and engaging as the best way to perform on social media, right? You want your content to be educating, entertaining, or engaging. It could be one of the three, but if it's all three, it's fantastic. And as much as you're putting out value, creators especially, the audience wants to build some connection with them, and by showing that day in the life and who you are, and that you're, hey, take a look at what I'm doing day to day. It's a great way to actually build them. So how about them raps? Not sure what you mean there, Adam, but let's keep it rocking. So infographics, very informative as well. Videos, blogs, white papers, opinion articles. Templates, right? You create, which, go check out the Discord. We had Bogdan share this amazing template resource that is pretty much all the templates of standard processes, of marketing plans, go-to-market strategies, content strategies, and these are great resources. These are workflows and processes that someone established that actually is putting it out and opening it. Surveys, slide shares, resources, company updates, company news, quotes, quizzes, polls, podcasts, user-generated content. These are all fantastic content formats that I hope all of you are familiar with. Collages, original research, press releases, photos, and predictions. And if you feel like I've missed one, please let us know, and we'll go ahead and include this. So these are all, as you can see, so many different types of content formats, which I don't necessarily think the content strategy should be so focused on a content format. Right? The content strategy should be focused on which categories that you have, and which you say, okay, I'm going to be posting Monday about mindset, Tuesdays about growth, Wednesdays about entrepreneurship, right? You have your content categories, and now you say, how do I want to express this mindset category? And you could pick one of these content formats to be the medium for you to express that, that content and that messaging. Whew. All right. We got a doozy, guys. We got a doozy. So tools, let's talk tools. I want to hear from you guys. What are your favorite content marketing tools? Here are just a few. You guys are probably familiar with a lot of these, right? Canva, video, photo editing, and kind of GIFs, animations, Google Trends. Such a fantastic resource if you want to talk about what's buzzing in social media, specifically current events. Do very well. If you're talking about SEO, I wouldn't necessarily chase too much about current events unless you're already an authority. And the reason why is because you're competing against these major publications. Google and these trends on the SEO side, focus on evergreen content. That's just a personal opinion and a strong recommendation. But when it comes down to trends, and current events and what's buzzing today, make sure to leverage that on your social media. SEMrush, fantastic keyword research, and then Grammarly for cleaning up your copy and how you write. Next up, we got SimilarWeb, BuzzSumo, Backlinko. Fantastic resources. BuzzSumo specifically when it comes to, Ahrefs. These are all fantastic resources, okay? And I'm just showing a couple. Some people might like, SEMrush. Other people might like, Ahrefs. I can never say it. Ahrefs, whatever. Other people might like, SpyFu, okay? There's so many tools out there, or Backlinko. But I just want to point out, this is actually a great tool. Answer the public. Go ahead and listen to what the world is talking about, the questions they're asking. And yeah, we definitely need a little breather over here, but we're going in. So answerthepublic.com and Uber Suggest. Thank you for that. Answerthepublic.com, great resource to actually understand what the market is asking questions, and then you could put out content answering these questions. And of course, last but definitely not least, what's happening. These social media platforms, you can see it on LinkedIn, you can see it on Twitter. There is a section that is telling you what is trending. Go in and inject yourself in the conversation. Not all content needs to be original content from your feed. You can respond to people, and that still is content marketing, because as you guys know, Sajad is doing a strategy for the SEO, and he's on Reddit. And not only is he posting original content on Reddit, but he's injecting himself in the conversation so that into posts that are performing well. The reason why, if someone comes across that post, they read the post and then they naturally gravitate to the comments. You could inject your brand, your messaging, your value to the point. Make sure to leave a little bit of breadcrumbs. And what I mean by breadcrumbs, I'm putting breadcrumbs, and it's following me. And these breadcrumbs will allow the conversation you're injecting yourself into for them to go to your page, see your username, and actually come right back to you. So yeah, all those, absolutely what you guys are talking about right there. Yeah, Google Trends, that's actually what I meant by the Google platform itself, especially Google search, just a great resource in itself. So, all right. This is where we start going a little bit deeper. Okay, and I believe these three things is exactly what you need for your content, and it's really context, right? Don't assume your audience knows everything that you do. You gotta give them the full understanding of the story. There's a reason when you read a book, there's a table of contents to start off. So and I always recommend reading the table of contents so you can understand what's coming in that book and kind of have an idea of the framework and what's building. If I'm sitting here talking about content marketing, okay, and I'm not talking about social media, and I don't mention social media, I don't mention about these platforms, and I just start saying, yeah, indexing on Google, and just assume you guys know about SEO, I might lose a few of you, right? So make sure you give the context a full understanding so that if someone is brand new here, they will completely follow and catch you. You could see this actually a lot with television shows on like Netflix or any TV series, okay? They try to incorporate as much context as possible. And the reason why is someone might have not seen all the episodes previously leading up to that moment. So whenever they frame things, they kind of say a little bit more information. So if it's your first time following and watching, you're actually following the storyline, okay? And that's still content, television. So data, okay? It's really easy to just throw information out there and not backing it, but that's where I think the power comes with case studies and factual content and using data to back your reasoning. No room for doubt. Course, and then examples. As you explain things, it's very important to use references of examples of people doing similar things in the space or similar things happening in current events. Okay, context, data, examples, right? Remember, art, authority, relevancy, and trust. CDE, I'm trying to abbreviate context, data, and examples. I don't know why, I'm sorry. I totally skipped out on these slides. Oh no. 1 second. I did not mean to do that. No, where is this? Sorry guys, bear with me. Okay. Gotta get rid of this. All right. Sorry guys, I just had a bunch of other slides that I didn't remove, and now let's go straight into there we go. This is it. This is the one right here. Getting traffic to your content. Okay, those are slides. I'm using a master template, so I had to pull some existing templates, so I didn't have to go so heavy in the design, and I could focus on the value. So, what are some ways of actually getting additional traffic to your content? Okay, and this is I think one of the most obvious ones, which is paid media. All right, and especially in SEO, when you're searching for certain keywords, what's the objective of the certain keywords that you're searching for? It's to rank and actually get top of funnel content. I know I did lose it, but I picked it back up. We're back at it like we never left. So paid media, right? Driving ads, boosting your posts, getting exposure of top of funnel new audiences that can see your brand and actually join in and opt in your list and opt in your following, and now constantly be exposed to your information. Okay, followers is not really a great metric in my opinion, but engagement, of course, and impressions are spot on. And when you're doing top of funnel ads, building that brand is very, very powerful strategy. Especially a lot of people, aren't familiar with running Google ads on your blog content for the keywords you're trying to rank for. All right, why wait 6 months when I can get traffic today? Especially if that traffic actually leads to conversions, especially if that traffic that I'm trying to get is a lot deeper in the funnel and is actually comparing two potential different products or services or companies, and I'm there to kind of jump into that that point where they're making a decision and they're evaluating, inject myself and kind of conquest this traffic. All right, doing native advertising. I've been saying this quite frequently, a lot. You could buy space on publications like Forbes, on CNN. I mean, these big reputable publications, I can't believe I called CNN reputable, but these big reputable publications that have a lot of web traffic, and putting your blog posts there, and it feels so native. It feels organic, it feels natural to the point that you can get that traffic. So, whew, all right. Of course, organizing your site into categories, establishing these pillars, okay? These pillars are the strongest pieces of content that you have. And setting up the sitemap, which is underutilized, yeah, but the traffic will slow down the minute you end the ad. Absolutely, but at that point that the traffic slowed down, the goal is to have had opt them in, built that trust, establish your brand, right? Now you have more brand awareness with more eyeballs there. So the SEO needs to be in place, so you're getting, absolutely. That is true. And the SEO is a longer term play. I think we could all agree on there. 3 to 6 months, right? 90 to 180 days for it to potentially happen. Content marketing with SEO is more long term for sure, but that's where paid media focuses on the short term. And then instant validation, so that you can say, okay, cool, this is a piece of content that actually performs very well when it's being running ads to it. And who knows, maybe you're getting conversions off of it. If that's the case, well, let's refine that piece of content. Let's expand on it. Let's add more photos, let's add more videos and explainers. And by doing this and having your site into categories, okay, you understand the pillars with Furlough. We have 10 different pillars. Those 10 different pillars are the framework of our blog and our website and our sitemap. So having that consistency, especially with, we have our content pillars and our categories on our social media, is the same as our website, is the same as our SEO strategy. So something to consider. Establishing categories, very important. And this is where a little more advanced. It's personalized content recommendations. You can do this with smart widgets, right? Which is more of a programmatic way of doing it. But then you could also do this with something like virtual assistants. Okay, and actually speaking, getting to know your audience and personally recommending them certain parts. So for a new biz, of course, paid media needs to be the priority. Too competitive of a space, of course, unless you found a very sweet niche, then it shouldn't, if you found a sweet niche with very low competition, focus on quality content and getting traffic to that content so that Google can reward you for that content. So, but yeah, personalized content recommendations. This can be with smart widgets. So this is a kind of new term that we've been mentioned here today, smart widgets. And you kind of have seen this with, let's put this into perspective, when, you are shopping for an item, right? You put an item in your cart, you leave the store, you didn't check out. Of course, you get the email marketing campaign called an abandoned cart, which is showing specifically the content that you had on your email. This is known as a smart widget, right? It's actually personalizing the content specifically for you. Okay, you've probably seen this before. There are companies and services out there that will overlay your entire website. And every part that you have a banner, you just say that this is an overlay. And depending where your traffic comes from, it'll personalize the content for said traffic. So if you get to the website from Facebook, it's gonna be like, hey, glad use this coupon Facebook 25, right? Just a simple example. Obviously including first names and curating and segmentations, right? If someone is interested in just oils and not, topicals or creams or edibles, right? I'm talking now CBD space. If they're interested in just oils, focusing on providing content for those specific products. So adding to your point on content, I read this somewhere, like integrating emotional triggers in your content. These types of posts get shared the most. It's actually crazy. A statistic I read that I think like bad or malicious or scary, low vibrational frequency content gets shared more. And that's why fake news travels faster than good news. So yeah, definitely agree with you there. Extermination and exterminators. Hey, awesome. Referral networks, okay? I don't think I even put your social media, which is part of your referral network. One can imagine the people that follow you, they're there to support you. That's why they're following you on your journey. But imagine a company like a Salesforce. Imagine a company like HubSpot. Whenever they post on social media, every single one of their employees engage with that content. Imagine if every one of their employees shared that content, right? Imagine if every one of their employees were part of a different community and their authorities in different communities, and now they engage with their communities like, hey, you think you could support this? A fantastic way to actually drive additional traffic. Referral networks are so incredible. Engagement groups, not so much. I don't think having a group that is the sole purpose of engaging with your content is the only reason you're together. Facebook, this was a very tricky space, especially when I was, very deep into the influencer world. These influencers would have what's called engagement pods, and they would be on platforms like Instagram DMs. So whenever you made a post, you shared that post into the Instagram DM, and everyone, all the hundreds of people in this group would engage with that content. There was mixed reviews on this, and the reason why was because Facebook probably is aware that you're in a Facebook, in an Instagram group, and that you're sharing with these people, so it's not authentic, and it could lead to potential like shadow banning. It's a whole mixed thing. It's just uncertainty in this space. This is all theories and kind of deduction with the information that I have presented from experience, but we really don't know. And what I've seen is that a lot of these engagement pods actually moved over to Telegram, which is more encrypted. Before it was in a WhatsApp group, and it's like, well, if they're checking your Instagram DMs, they're probably checking your WhatsApp DMs too, and your Facebook Messenger. So they moved off a platform. Either way, I just don't think this is you're just doing it for likes. And now with there's a whole entire mix thing here. Like if an influencer with a blue check, if you get a bunch of people with a blue check to engage with your content, those are considered super likes. And there's just a lot of uncertainty here. And I think white hat always beats black hat, and trying to get the cheap, quick way to go viral, it doesn't work in long term. Building trust, building audiences, building, really great content and sharing it with people that will benefit from said content. Now, affiliates, I think is a great reference here as well, because if you have a landing page and these affiliates are driving traffic to it and they're having a good experience, these landing pages, if they index, okay, and these parts of your website that are performing well, this affiliate traffic can support it. And especially if you use content as a way for, as marketing assets, and these content as marketing assets to these affiliates that can promote this content for you, and if there's conversions, right, they can be compensated for it. It's a whole model for performance marketing with these affiliates. But definitely something to consider and utilize. I think affiliate marketing can pretty much be applicable to any industry, any business, as long as there is a conversion event. I think affiliates can find a way to make the most, to be involved. And if you're not considering an affiliate marketing strategy in your business, let's talk, because I think it's something that everyone should consider. Now, improving historical content. All right, you got to make sure that you go back, especially on SEO side. Okay, as the trends are changing and times change, Google loves it when you go back and expand on an old piece of content. When you add a link to a newer piece of content, so that if anyone sees the old one, they can say, oh, okay, cool, part 2, boom, go here. The internal linking strategy, right? Expanding on it, adding new pictures, adding an embedded video. By improving historical content, it shows Google that you don't just put out content. You really care about the whole overall ecosystem of your website and that content. So improving historical content, definitely a strong SEO pro tip over there. And last but definitely not least, actually second to last, the last one is probably one of the most obvious, but going live. If you're posting on social media, okay, and you have a post that you want to drive additional traffic to, by going live, think about stories on Instagram, right? You see every single story, but the first ones that show are usually the ones that are live. On TikTok, there has been, a tremendous amount of data out there that supports this. If you post a piece of content, unfortunately, you need 1,000 followers in order to go live on the platform. If you post a piece of content, your content will perform significantly better if you go live during the time that it's actually posted, during the time that it's in that discovery phase of how viral it will go, how much exposure it will get, and TikTok's really learning how your content fits into this, to their audience. So going live, very underutilized. And going live does not, you don't need to go live every day for an hour, right? You can go live for 20 minutes. You can go live for 15 minutes. You can go live for 5 minutes. Say an announcement, support it. Say, hey, here you're my early, if someone's at your live immediately, they're probably a supporter of you because they saw that you're live and they're instantly jumping into it. So definitely something to consider. And then last but definitely not least, email marketing, using your audience. And if you don't have a newsletter towards your audience, especially, if you're definitely not doing an email newsletter, at least start with a monthly one. And that monthly can be updates and all the top performing content that you had. You share it there. And don't share it as, this is my most viral post. Share it as in, this is why you should care about this post. So, let your boy breathe. All right. I love to see it. I love to see it. That's great. I did not know that IBM supports their employees as authorities. That's actually a really great business model. I think any company that invests in their employees will, and IBM is not IBM is not a small company over there. They're definitely leading the way. And yeah, that's great. And using all your references, all your resources, your network of communities, definitely effective. So that being said, guys, let's jump right into it. I do want to know specifically if you posted content today, share it in the chat. Let's get some engagement to it. We got a little engagement group right here. A couple likes, a couple comments might go a long way. So I haven't posted on social media today, so I am completely just kicked myself out of it. Out of this opportunity, save. So yeah, let me know if Nitin, you've probably posted a piece of content. Please share. Zane, I can imagine you're pretty on it. If you can share your piece of content, we could pull it up and let's drive some engagement to it. Right? So build relationships and nurture them, boys. I love to hear it. You know the vibes. Whew. It's really tough being up here without a partner in crime, I gotta say. So this is an open format. You see, we have space for a bunch of people here, all right? Bunch of people. If you have value you can present and you aren't putting out content, hey, you can be up here. This is still content. But we gotta deliver value because that's the only way you'll build trust. And because if you're wasting people's time with your social media posts, that's why I don't really like posting food, even though I understand that that's part of the lifestyle. Like, hey, I went out to lunch today, my salad, but I created content on my page but haven't posted on my own. Only social media and don't use it. I know it's kind of a catch-22 there, huh? Double-edged sword, maybe. Shoot myself in the foot. Why not? We're here for it. Content creation is not easy. Tip anyone doing it. It really isn't. But it's the start that holds you back. So hit the ground running. Yeah, and I gotta be honest, when I started doing the content creation side of things, because look, at the end of the day, these masterminds are still creating content. We just, we all have connections and ties outside of this stream, right? And we're in the community, and we're driving deep, and we're collaborating and working together and supporting each other's growth. But when I first started doing it, it was a completely different experience, just to be very clear. And if you're part of it, Zane, you were a part of it. It was super like workshops all the time. Every Tuesday, every Thursday, workshop. And it was really just kind of like, I would tell everybody, hey, get off the stream. We're going into Discord and we're actually speaking. And it's evolved. It's evolved now to the first time we're really curating specific, content for it versus a giant freestyle and just talking about whatever we wanted to talk about. And I know what I wanted to show you guys. So we were talking about meta. Now I'm going to freestyle a little bit because why not? So Facebook, meta, yeah, here we go. So we're talking about Meta, which I gotta say, the cryptocurrency market is going insane because of that. And turns out with Facebook's rebrand, what they forgot to do was check if there's an existing company with the name Meta. And this is information I've come across. I haven't gone too deep into it, but a company, I think it's a computer PC, something related to that. Someone shared this information to me now, and I was dying laughing because Meta, this is a big move for them. They did a whole announcement, a whole video, put it all out there. This kind of did affect the markets. I'll tell you, the cryptocurrency market with the metaverse companies that are out there are skyrocketing. Thank you, Zuck, for boosting my portfolio. But little did they know that there was a company existing, and now that company is seeking $20 million for the name, which is, can you imagine having meta.com, but actually having a trademark? So it's going to be interesting. If I was them, I would have gone for 100 million, but yeah, so it was a healthcare company, he said. Gautam, let's see. That's just kind of going a little research. Yeah, you see, it's just everywhere. But maybe, what's that say? But may be willing to stand down if Mark Zuckerberg pays up. That's it. Oh, you did. You shared in the random channel. Oh, look at that. Oh, you did. Look at that. That was the one channel I didn't open up this today. So, nice, Zane. You beat me to the punch. There you go. Love to see it. Out there, call them out on their logo as well. That's right. They go, let me see, companies with similar logos to Meta. Yeah, it was Sense. This was actually I love this brand. This is what they did. Right? It's where they go low, we go high. Data privacy, and that's what the whole Sense business model is. And they basically use that as an opportunity. And this is what I mean by injecting yourself into the conversation, right? Meta for the day, for the week, I don't know how long. The world was talking about it. But finding opportunities to go ahead and inject yourself into this. When I had a meeting the day that it came out, and it was with this TikTok influencer who's putting out 5 pieces of content every day for the month of October. And he was telling me, he's like, yeah, I mentioned Meta. It was so funny because right before this call, I was just like, I got to get all my Meta content in. Got to get all my Meta content in because what's relevant today might not be relevant tomorrow. People aren't really going to be talking about this stuff. So it's very, very interesting. Maybe that's why all the Meta apps are down now. Oh, I don't know. I just have not looked at the market. I'm really trying not to. It's just, I could stare at it all day. What's up, Shaggy? Yeah, I could stare at that stuff all day. Crazy times. And I got a few messages from a few of you, and I gotta say, it's like, hey, what crypto company should I invest in? I'm like, it's just like a tough question to ask because you're asking this question when the market is as a whole is up 40-50%. Can't answer that right now, and I wouldn't, and I don't think anyone could. The problem with this bull markets, okay, and I know we're going a little bit off of what we usually talk about. The problem with bull markets is that everyone's an expert in a bull market. Everyone's making calls. Oh, you should get in this company. Oh, you should get in that company. Oh, that company did 8%. Oh, that company did 40%. And it's like, yeah, everyone's an expert in a bull market, but where do they go during the bear market? And I've seen this before in 2016, towards the end of the year when Bitcoin was going on that run. I cannot say how many big cryptocurrency groups that there were just like, hey, premium groups, sign up and I'll give you all these calls. And every group that you join in this market, in the status of the market, is probably going to hit some shots and hit some calls. Probably going to miss some too, but they're going to hit a lot of calls because we're in a bull market. Money is flowing in insane numbers into this market right now, and it's just crazy to think. So take that into consideration because when the bear market does come, all these people are probably going to disappear, especially those paid groups and paid communities. But that's where you kind of find the winners of the people who are really serious about this space and think long term. I always think macro, act micro, do minor steps and minor tasks that will get you through your day closer to your macro goal. But yeah, definitely something to consider. Let me go back to the brain. Whew. You're a wizard, Harry. I can't. Tristan over here gives me a call and he's like, look, man, you're up 12%. And I had to rotate out of a project into that one that was up 80%. So technically I'm down 70%. But yeah, I'm a big fan of Solana. I love Solana as a platform. I actually have a meeting today with a Solana marketplace developer to see we have potential opportunities for a furlough NFT, which will be the first service-based NFT in existence. There's nothing like it. I've looked. Trust me, I've looked. I'm trying to find people that do this so I don't need to create something from scratch. Instead, I can just use them as inspiration, use them as references, and use them as a point of reference. Like it's just so tough to do things. If you're doing something and you don't have competitors, look harder because you probably do. But it's not that we're doing original ideas, but we're grabbing bits and pieces from so many different places and really solving a hole in the market, in my opinion. And I think the Solana blockchain, it's so revolutionary and incredible. I think Solana will end up being 20% of Ethereum's market cap, even though TikTok's building on Ethereum. Facebook, Meta is building on Ethereum blockchain. So the only advice, financial advice, if you do want to get into these markets, I would tell you do what is known as dollar cost averaging into these large caps, into the Bitcoins, into the Ethereums, and just put as much as you're willing to lose. And yeah, focus on dollar cost averaging into the blockchains, okay? Because you're either betting on a website, okay, which are these small independent companies, or you're betting on the internet that house these companies. Yeah, you'll probably make less money because of the returns. These are big, giant cruise ships with giant waves. The cruise ship's not going to move, okay, because the volatility is a big, huge cruise ship, but it's going to move very differently than a small boat with these giant waves. So yeah, there is a possibility for parabolic shift in the market, or where your actual investment takes off 100,000x. But Ethereum, for example, it's going to be very difficult from Ethereum to go from 5,000 to 10,000, even though I'm a strong believer that it will. So Ethereum 2.0 is right around the corner. It's going to solve the gas fees, and it's going to solve all the problems that are happening in this Ethereum space with those transaction fees. And who knows, maybe we end up going onto Ethereum if that ends up happening in the next couple months. But yeah, I'm not really getting into that. If you guys want to learn about DeFi exchanges, I went through a rabbit hole. That should be fun. But that is not part of the content categories in which we talk about here for low. So if you're interested in e-commerce, if you're interested in email marketing, CRO, UX, UI, content marketing, SEO and PR, social media, branding, strategy, and paid advertising, you're in the right place. But we're not going to be going into the crypto space, because the reality is with investments, like I said, anyone's a pro in the bull market, but with investments, you need to have some cash flow in order to put into these investments. Yes, there are ways, especially in a bull market, there is a lucrative opportunity. Let's say you have one coin of a blockchain, let's say like a Solana or Ethereum. We use that coin to invest in the applications within that blockchain, like the projects, right? And as there's huge rise, you rotate it back in. So now your one coin is 2 coins, right? Yeah, I don't want to get into this. I'm sorry. I'm reading the chat. I see that's where the pulse is at. So I kind of feed into that, I'm trying to pull a little back. So crypto is great. I love the market. I love the space. It's still young, very early. Only 97% of people are actually holders of Bitcoin. The biggest thing that I was talking to a Feared Gadot yesterday, and he said, I think it's like 75 to 95% of people are actually 75 to 90% of people under the age of 35 are big believers of cryptocurrency, that's a huge number if you think about that, because those people are going to get older, okay? And there will be a great transfer of wealth. The boomers are retiring, okay? You have to look back at World War II, okay? World War II, let's drop some knowledge over here. World War II, we had the first time in history, in the United States history, that women were really working. Who do you think manufactured all the bullets for the war, right? It was the women. They were in factories, they were working. When they were in World War II, they were fighting. Yay, we beat the Axis, whatever. They ended up coming back to the States, celebrated that type of stuff, and made a ton of babies. Those are known as the baby boomers. Those baby boomers are getting older. They were the ones that really lived in such a great time of the American dream. The American dream nowadays is very tough across all around the world, very tough, especially what's happening with inflation, with colleges, school, the education system. Skip that beat. But you look at these boomers that went to school, got an education, bought their property, their real estate, worked a job, ended up getting a pension and retirement, have all this wealth. Where does that money go? And when they retire, they give it to the next generation below them, or even further down to the grandkids. And that's what is known as a great transfer of wealth. It's coming. And when you think about all this money that is transferring, where do you think these kids are going to put it? Right back into the market. And that's why I like to say we are so early. So early. It's not too late to get involved, especially if you look at the future of communities and the future of these platforms. It's looking so bright, because communities are the future, without a doubt. I think with how the pandemic kind of separated us, isolated us, we all went online. Here we are, and I don't even know what's going on in the chat, guys. I don't know what's going on. I like tea more than milk, but The future is communities and building trust, and with decentralization and allowing ownership back into the people's hands, into the projects that they believe in, especially DAOs. I think DAOs, where you allow a community to govern themselves and actually be compensating for supporting this venture. Very interested, Furlough. I've been very, very open about this. I want to turn this into a DAO. I know I am the owner right now. I no longer want to be the owner. I want everyone else to be the owner. I just want to be a founder and take a step back. So we are well on our way, and I do have a very promising meeting today about the Solana stuff. So take a step back. Just wanted to give you guys more awareness. If you guys want to go down the rabbit hole, by all means. So what do you think about these digital companies hiring meme directors? Like I said, memes push culture. People, I will never forget, actually, someone laughed at me. They go, they actually made fun of me. You get all your information from Instagram. And I'm like, what's wrong with that? It's a platform, it's a medium. And people are authorities in the space that share information on that. And I think building good memes we're talking about a square, one photo of a square that is able to educate, that's able to entertain and engage with someone enough for them to share it. That is the most powerful piece of content that a creator can make. And if you're really good at making memes, you're like memes and videos. If you're able to do that, skyrocket yourself to the stratosphere. Forget the moon. You're going farther than that. But I think meme directors are just a great role. And it's hard to be funny and to be. It really is. Like, being funny is not something I don't think you can learn. But if you know about your interests very well, and you see a lot of these kind of memes that are going around, they're formats, right? You've seen it before. The cat at dinner with the little face, and then like the girl who's arguing about it. It's just a disagreement. And you find whatever niche you're in, and you can use that template to showcase these memes. So I think memes are very powerful. And hey guys, you guys want to post some memes on Furlough? I'm all for it. So I've been using TikTok for my main source of news. It's mind-blowing how smart people are on there. It really is, and older people are getting on TikTok. I gotta say, I opened up TikTok. The first video I saw was a call. I went on, I went to go look at the call, and I was like, wow, that's actually an interesting project. Looked into it. I kid you not. Follow your intuition. These algorithms are starting to get smarter than humans, and it went on an 80% run within the next 4-6 hours. So I don't knock anything about anyone to getting their information from social media platforms at all. Just be wary of the creators you follow. Check them out. With these blockchain platforms, if you're looking at a platform, looking at these crypto projects, and they don't showcase who's on their team, if you don't see LinkedIn's, it's called doxing, right? Doxing is you want to put out their personal information so that you know something shady is not going to happen. This is what happened with this new this coin called Squid Coin. Basically, it was set up so that no one could sell except for the original founders. And since all the founders weren't exposing information, nothing happened to them. So definitely something to consider there. There's so many different factors in play. But that being said, guys, how we feeling? How we doing? I know we're you're lagging. I know that we got a jam-packed day. I'm happy about that session. I think pretty informative, talking about content marketing. Ended up going to the crypto stuff. Innovation doesn't stop. It's going to keep going. And what we see with NFTs, I got to say, it's going to be ever changing. And the NFTs that we really see that come in the next couple years are going to look nothing like today. It's pretty crazy, the state of the world and where we're going. And let's also get this straight. The United Nations will be dropping a coin. I can't see. There's no scenario that they wouldn't do that. So educate yourself. Top priority. The smarter you get, the more opportunity you have. Remember, the more hands you shake, the more deals you make. So with that being said, it's an absolute pleasure. It's an absolute pleasure being your host of this mastermind session regarding content marketing. It's Thursday, 2:00 Eastern Standard Time. We'll be doing a orientation. I'll be hanging out most of the time into the lobby, into the Discord. So that being said, guys, much love, appreciation to all of you guys. Take care. Have a great rest of your day.